Welcome and thank you for joining us after the show. I'm your host, Charles Pol, and I'm joined by the most incredible man, father, and to many a legend, the incredible Dr. Pol.
Well, hello, Charles. Yes, it's great to be here.
Well, I can tell you're pretty popular. What a great episode, Dad, right?
Yes, that's true. You got to watch the episode. I still had to work.
I was busy taking care of your grandchild.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Let's get the show started. It's been an amazing year for us. Obviously, I'm now a father, and tonight we've premiered another season of The Incredible Dr. Pol. Thank you. Beth and I really enjoyed the show tonight. Looking back to that time when we still knew what sleep was. We're super excited to be back with you with an all-new season of The Incredible Dr. Pol. For those of you who want to catch up on all the old episodes, they are now all available to binge watch on Disney+. We're happy to join Mickey and friends on Disney+, and at 92 years old, Mickey is the only character on TV that is older than Dad.
Yes, thank you, Charles. We'll just keep going, Mickey. Never give up.
We have a great show lined up for you. Dr. Nicole and Dr. Ray are standing by, but first, let's take a look at a short clip of this week's episode.
Saturday on a new episode of The Incredible Dr. Pol.
Hello, 4-H pigs?
A strange rash pesters prized pigs.
Definitely pretty worried about them.
Oh, yeah, and hooves.
And at the hospital,
I'm anxious to have a new baby in the family.
Doc's wait to be a grandpa
I'm betting on a girl.
I'm betting on the boy.
finally ends.
So you guys ready to see your grandchild?
The Incredible Dr. Pol. New episode Saturday at 9 on Nat Geo Wild.
Wow, that was really a great episode. There were a lot of animals that needed your help, Dad. I know you hate to pick a favorite, but is there any animal you won't work on?
No, Charles. And you know, my favorite animal is a healthy animal. But it doesn't make any difference what animal comes through the door. If it needs help, I like to help it. Because somebody has an animal as an owner and they should have the best help they can get.
Tonight we saw you treat some sunburned pigs. Are there any other animals we need to watch out for sun exposure?
Yes. Basically, pigs have no hair, just like what we do, and they get sunburned. Other animals that have fur or hair can get overheated, and that's just as bad.
Speaking of treating all different kinds of animals, Dr. Nicole has been one of our vets most eager to treat all animals, great and small. Let's bring her on now. Dr. Nicole, thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You've been at the clinic for just over 2 years. How many different species of animals have you treated?
Oh my goodness, I have lost count. It's been quite a few. I know that my list would definitely be way shorter if I did not work at Pol Vet, and definitely a lot shorter if I didn't get to work with Dr. Pol. He has been a great mentor throughout these past couple of years, and he has taught me how to handle different animals, how to treat them, and if I ever have questions, he's right there. But my list is growing, and hopefully it'll continue to grow through the roof.
Have you always wanted to work on a variety of animals, Dr. Nicole?
I've always wanted to work on multiple species of animals. Growing up and even through vet school, I was told that you have to, pick one type of species, maybe a group of animals, like large animals, small animals, exotics, and I was told you can't do them all. Well, look at me now. I'm doing them all, and I'm very excited, and I couldn't do it without Dr. Pol.
How has working with Dr. Pol helped you learn to take care of the different species that you see? Like, Dad, what is the process of being able to work on something as different from one day to the next as a mouse to a Clydesdale?
Because animals are in certain species, and many different animals belong to a species that is similar. So what you have to do is use common sense, right, Nicole? And that's how you can treat all these animals.
Yes, definitely.
Including the rooster.
Yes, That is my pet rooster, Chester. Apparently has a lot to say, but Dr. Pol has taught me how to even treat my own chickens, and you just have to use everything that you learned at school and everything you've learned around the way and apply it to what you're doing.
Well, let's transition now to a different area. People have gotten to see you work in veterinary medicine, but what is one thing that people haven't gotten to see that might surprise them the most, Dr. Nicole?
Something to surprise you. Let's see. Well, growing up, I liked photography. In high school, I was really interested in photography. I got a camera, learned how to use it, and tried to teach myself basically how to take good pictures, and I really, really enjoyed that. However, going through vet school, it got kind of put on the back burner because I didn't have much free time for really anything but studying at that point. So I have been able to go ahead and pick that back up now, and I'm loving it and kind of just learning as I go and kind of learning from the TV show and the pictures that they take, and it's a great combination.
If you had one recommendation for pet owners watching, what would it be?
Recommendation for pet owners. The best advice would be to go ahead and ask us every question, no matter how silly or stupid you may think it sounds. Go ahead and ask us. We will not laugh at you. We will answer your questions and gladly do so. We are really happy to answer those questions because we'd rather see it sooner rather than later and help you treat your pet before it gets serious.
Dr. Pol, anything to add to that?
You know, she's very right. You know, it is never not ask a question that you want to ask, because the more you know what is wrong with your animals, the better you can treat the animal at home and help us out, make your animal better.
Last question, Dr. Nicole. We know that your favorite TV show is The Incredible Dr. Pol, but what is your second favorite TV show?
Second favorite TV show, let's see. Okay. Growing up, I always wanted to be a vet. My backup to that plan was going to be a doctor, and my backup to a doctor was going to be a lawyer. So I guess I'd have to say Law and Order is my second favorite TV show.
Well, I can tell that you might need to get back to your chickens, Dr. Nicole. So we're going to say thank you for joining us, and we're going to see you back at the clinic on Monday. Next up, we have the newest doctor to join Pol Veterinary Services, Dr. Ray Harp. Let's go to Dr. Harp now. Welcome, Dr. Ray. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We're glad to have you as a part of the show. Can you tell us a little bit about how you came to work at PVS?
Well, when I was deciding whether or not I should go to vet school, we were actually watching Dr. Pol. And my wife said, you know, I think you should just go ahead and apply. That looks like a lot of fun. So that's how I ended up going to vet school. And then I graduated, and she had been checking the want ads for me, and it turned out that Dr. Pol was hiring. So we came up and visited, and everything worked out, and here we are.
Well, that's a great story. I'm sure that a lot of viewers can relate to that one. Have you have to be ready to work on all sorts of animals at Pol Veterinary Services. Did you always want to work in a mixed animal practice, Dr. Ray?
Yeah, I think so. I don't have a lot of experience in it, but about halfway through vet school, I decided that that's really what I wanted to do. I had some experience with some rescue that it rescued large and small animals, and I decided that I just really liked working with all kinds of animals. I thought small animal would just get kind of boring after a while. Not that there's not enough to know and do, but it's nice to have a variety in your work.
I'm sure you can relate to that, right?
I do too. You know, as the more difference, the more fun it is. So yes, the more animals you see, the more of a challenge it is, and this is what I like about being mixed animal practice.
Dad,
it's a challenge for sure.
Yes.
Dad, the procedure we watched in the show was called a flip and stitch. Can you tell us a little bit about an LDA and the flip and stitch?
Well, I don't call it flip and stitch, it's roll and stitch, because you don't flip a cow. You have to roll them, and it takes a lot of people to roll them. What happens is an LDA is a left displaced apomasum. A cow has 4 stomachs, and the 4th stomach is actually floating in the belly. When it fills up with gas, it floats to the top, most of the time to the left side. So what you do, you roll the cow on its back, that balloon goes back to the surface again, and we take a big needle, stick it through that to anchor it to the belly wall.
Dr. Ray, was that the first time you've had to roll a cow?
Yeah, I think so. We may have done another one, but that may have been my first cow rolling. Yep.
Were there any surprises the first time, or did it go kind of how you thought it would go?
Oh, it went great. It went really smoothly. It was nice.
Well, you talked a little bit about how you came to veterinary medicine a little bit later in life. Did you have that dream of wanting to be a vet as a kid, or was it something that actually came to you more as an adult?
It definitely came to me more as an adult. I was considering going into human medicine, and I kind of went back and forth for a little while. So yeah, it's something as an adult. I've had so many interests throughout my life. It's been hard to focus on one thing, and it's something I was finally able to stick with. So it turned out all right.
Yes.
I think it's really cool that you were able to pursue your dreams to become a vet like later in life like that. Do you have any advice for kids or adults who might be thinking of pursuing a career in veterinary medicine?
Well, I was pretty lucky coming to it later in life that, we had once we had our son already, and my daughter was born right before I went back to school, and it really wouldn't have been possible at all without my wife. It was a lot of long nights and being gone for days at a time. So without her, it wouldn't have been possible at all. My best advice would be to know what you want to do early and work really hard. It would have been, really great to have started this 10, 20 years ago.
Dad,
So it gets harder.
Yes. I can
Dad,
see that.
any advice?
Any advice? Yes. It's hard to say to a 10-year-old, okay, what do you want to be? But if you have a job in mind, a career in mind that you want, pursue it. Just go for it. I was 12 years old when I decided I want to become a veterinarian, and just work towards it for the rest of the time until you get through. And yes, you can take off a year in between if you want to, but at the end, this is what I wanted to be, and like 50 years in it, and I still enjoy it.
Yeah, it's good if you know what you want. Unfortunately, I didn't know what I wanted until I got to do it for a little while.
And that is nothing wrong with that either. At least you made a choice now, and I think for you it's the right choice, and I hope you like it.
Yeah, I'm having fun.
Good.
Well, thank you for joining us, Dr. Ray. And we'll see you as well, bright and early on Monday morning at the clinic.
All right. Yeah, I'm out camping. You won't see me till Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday. We'll see you Tuesday. Enjoy. Eat some s'mores for me, okay?
Get
All right.
Anytime,
Thanks,
Dr.
Dad.
Ray. Now it's time for the part of the show you've all been waiting for. We have a special guest tonight. No, not my lovely wife, Beth. It's our family's newest addition, Abigail. Welcome, Abigail.
Say hi, everybody. Yes.
If there's anything that can make a pole, it's the love of animals. We have some clips of Abigail with a few of her furry friends. Let's take a look. Dad, I know you believe that all kids should grow up around animals. Can you talk about why you believe it's so important for kids like Abigail to grow up with animals?
Well, first of all, when kids roll on the floor in their first year with animals, their allergies are reduced by 30 to 40% later in life. And I just read also where they are better socialized. They are more compassionate for other people when they grow up with animals in their baby years.
When Beth and I brought Abigail home from the hospital, her first interaction with the dogs, especially Athena, was amazing. Beth, you had a really special moment with Athena going right back to the pregnancy. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, it was really fascinating to see how Athena was aware that I was expecting, and her behavior and interaction was very attentive to me, and she became quite protective as the pregnancy progressed. And then when we brought Abigail home, before she came home, Charles brought a cat from the hospital, and Athena smelled that cat and danced all over the living room and was just as happy as she could be. It's like she knew Abigail had arrived before she'd ever actually seen her. It was really great.
One of the first things Mom and Dad said to me after Abigail was born was, when are you going to have the second one? My parents love being grandparents very much. Let's take a look.
Hi, boy.
Hi, baby.
Hey, so big. Abigail is so big. Yes, percent.
Obviously, Mom, being a grandmother is the highlight of your life. What do you love about being a grandmother?
I love children. I've always loved children. I guess that's why I became a teacher. But it just is so neat to see the children as they change, as they grow. And one nice thing about being a grandmother is I can spoil them as much as I want to, and then they have to go home with Mom and Dad.
This is your third grandkid. Can you talk a little bit about how every grandchild is just a little different?
Well, like normal people, each child is an individual. So each grandchild has been a little bit different, has had a little bit different interest, and you have to treat them a little bit differently. It's been almost 23 years since I had to do this with little grandchildren again. So I'm really enjoying this time, and I'm so glad that we live closer, so I do get to spoil Abigail lots of times and send her home to her mom and dad.
Right.
Obviously, Dad, you love being an OPA. So can you talk about what you love most about being an OPA?
Well, that's the same thing. But Omar says it is nice to have a young baby around that you can spoil a little bit and see him change. It's so amazingly how fast they can change, isn't it, Charles? And to watch that change is just unbelievable, fascinating.
Dad, I remember going out with you on farm calls from a young age. Some of my earliest memories are being out in the station wagon.
Yes.
I can't even remember, what age was I when you first took me out?
I think I took you out when you were 5 years old already on some calls that didn't take long. You didn't have a very long attention span, so you always went with me. We went in the barn, you saw all the different animals, and everybody was very happy to see you too. Hey, is that your son? Yep. Is he going to be a vet? Nope.
Watching Abigail grow up has been one of the highlights of my life. We'd like to share a couple of these special moments with you now. Let's take a look.
Look at you go! Yeah! Right over there. What kind of snorty fun is that, huh?
There's been a lot of great highlights so far, but Mom and Dad, I do have a question. What do we have to look for now that Abigail is walking around like that?
A lot more sleepless nights.
That was a very loaded question.
Yes. Oh yeah.
More
First of all,
sleepless nights?
Yes.
I don't know if we can do that. I don't know if we can do
What you have to do, and you don't know how fast you can do it, is child-proof a house. When they start walking and crawling and walking and crawling, whatever they do first, they get into so many things you don't know how fast you can go run after them. Says, no, don't do that. Yes, oh, that's okay, but not this part.
That reminds me, just the other week, Abigail was walking along the furniture as she does, you know, crawling from piece to piece. And Beth was like, you got to watch her, you got to watch her. And I said, no, she's doing fantastic. We don't have to watch her. I don't want to be one of those parents who hover over their child. And right at that moment, she tips over and whacks her head something fierce on a chair. It was, oh man. But how many times did I fall down like that, Mom and Dad?
Oh, you fell several different times.
Yeah.
I remember having to take you to the doctor for something unrelated to any of the falls, and I felt like I was embarrassed to take you in because you had so many bruises, so many cuts and scabs and everything else. They were going to think I was abusing you.
I always say, Abigail, what do we do when we fall down? We get back up. But it's getting past Abigail's bedtime, and it's been a long day. Let's take a look at next week's episode.
Saturday on a new episode of The Incredible Dr. Pol. It's a crazy day at the office.
So it's just Dr. Pol and I today.
Super bumped.
Having just two of us could be bad.
And there's not a minute to spare.
We've got to juggle for everybody and try to get the appointments all done.
Who's next? We'll have more coffee.
Cases are stacking up,
Holy Moses.
but Doc always gets it done.
Thank you. Honestly.
The Incredible Dr. Pol. New episode Saturday at 9 on Nat Geo Wild.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be excited to see that all new episode of The Incredible Dr. Pol next week. And make sure you join us again next week at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for an all new episode of Recheck with Dr. Pol. Good night, everybody. Goodbye.
Good night.